Seattle is a seacoast city that is surrounded by all sorts of natural beauty. It's also known for big business, music, art, and of course, coffee. It has grown up to become the largest city in the Pacific Northwest. It has also produced and nurtured jazz legends like Ray Charles, rock legend Jimi Hendrix, and it's where the 90s grunge movement began and produced bands like Nirvana. It's a land of beauty, innovation, affluence, and individuality. But in recent years, it has become a haven for homelessness, drug addiction, and violent protests, and have led the charge in rejecting law and authority across our nation. In June of 2020, an angry mob of protesters overtook a section of downtown Seattle, forcing the police department to vacate as an angry mob destroyed the city. In this course, Anger and Personal Rights, we see that very often a person's anger can be traced back to unmet needs and unfulfilled perceived personal rights. We took to the streets of Seattle to ask people this question: what rights do you believe we are entitled to in this life?
Youngest sister, she came out as gay when she was 17.
My reality is I'm gonna love who I want to love.
I love the rainbows and the sidewalks.
I personally don't have an issue with anyone choosing who their spouse or who their significant other is.
My biggest problem is like the big movement right now of the pedophiles trying to put a P at the end of it. I don't agree with that.
And everybody can hold hands with whoever and kiss whoever and do whatever with whomever.
That is not something that needs to be up on that whole list. Those guys, that's their list, they're good people. It doesn't matter what their background is, they're good people.
Their opinion does not override my reality. My reality is I'm gonna love who I want to love.
Oh yeah, I definitely, I believe abortion is a right. I don't think anybody has the right to tell a woman what she can do with her body.
The way that I feel about it definitely should not influence what somebody else chooses to do.
At the end of the day, it's hers. She's the one going through the pain. We gotta make sure as men we stay in our lane.
It's her body. It's her life.
And nobody has the right to tell somebody with a uterus what to do with it.
We should definitely be locking up corrupted police. Defunding them is always an option.
You know, if people are in a place in life where they feel that crime is their only option, then society's failed.
Violence and looting and all that is reasonable.
I mean, if you're not angry, you're obviously not paying attention.
Something that really pisses me off is, you know, a lot of people blame a president, and then by blaming a president, they burn a flag. Men and women die for that flag.
I don't think violence really is ever an answer because we had lots of violence, and what's the result?
And you can use anger to get a lot of things done.
Lots of boarded up places, 130 places at least downtown closed down for good, people losing jobs, healthcare, everything.
You know, show a sword and let them know that, hey, you're outnumbered. We're the people.
Violence is really never a good option, I don't think, to get what the desired result is.
Is there a point where violence is the answer to not being listened to? As much as I want to say yes, I have to say no. Real change, the kind of change that we need, can't be born of violence. It's not an option.
In this class, we learned that in order to live a life surrendered to Jesus, we must surrender our perceived personal rights to follow Him. As Christians, our lives no longer belong to us. They belong to God. Therefore, we must learn to live our lives according to God's Word. Matthew 16:25 says, "Whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." We can't hold on to the parts of our old life that don't line up with God's Word. especially our perceived personal rights. Most anger rises up when we feel these rights are being violated, or because we have the faulty expectation that life should be fair. As Christians, we still get angry. But what do we do with it? Do we master anger, or is it our master?